भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता 2023 Chapter 35 Provisions as to Bail and Bonds 478 In what cases bail to be taken? 1. When any person other than a person accused of a non-bailable offense is arrested or detained without warrant by an officer in charge of a police station, or appears or is brought before a court, and is prepared at any time while in the custody of such officer or at any stage of the proceeding before such court to give bail, such person shall be released on bail, provided that such officer or court, if he or it thinks fit, may, and shall, if such person is indigent and is unable to furnish surety, instead of taking bail bond from such person, discharge him on his executing a bond for his appearance as hereinafter provided. Explanation: where a person is unable to give bail bond within a week of the date of his arrest, it shall be a sufficient ground for the officer or the court to presume that he is an indigent person for the purposes of this proviso. Provided further that nothing in this section shall be deemed to affect the provisions of subsection 3 of section 135 or section 492. 2. Notwithstanding anything in subsection 1, where a person has failed to comply with the conditions of the bond or bail bond as regards the time and place of attendance, the court may refuse to release him on bail. When on a subsequent occasion in the same case he appears before the court or is brought in custody, and any such refusal shall be without prejudice to the powers of the court to call upon any person bound by such bond or bail bond to pay the penalty thereof under section 491. 479. Maximum period for which individual prisoner can be detained. 1. Where a person has, during the period of investigation, inquiry or trial under this Sanhita of an offense under any law, not being an offense for which the punishment of death or life imprisonment has been specified as one of the punishments under that law, undergone detention for a period extending up to 1/2 of the maximum period of imprisonment specified for that offense under that law, he shall be released by the court on bail, provided that where such person is a first-time offender, who has never been convicted of any offense in the past, he shall be released on bond by the court. If he has undergone detention for the period extending up to 1/3 of the maximum period of imprisonment specified for such offense under that law, provided further that the court may, after hearing the public prosecutor and for reasons to be recorded by it in writing, order the continued detention of such person for a period longer than 1/2 of the said period, or release him on bail bond instead of his bond. Provided also that no such person shall in any case be detained during the period of investigation, inquiry or trial for more than the maximum period of imprisonment provided for the said offense under that law. Explanation: in computing the period of detention under this section for granting bail, the period of detention passed due to delay in proceeding caused by the accused shall be excluded. 2. Notwithstanding anything in subsection 1, and subject to the third proviso thereof, where an investigation, inquiry or trial in more than one offense or in multiple cases are pending against a person, he shall not be released on bail by the court. 3. The superintendent of jail, where the accused person is detained, on completion of 1/2 or 1/3 of the period mentioned in subsection 1, as the case may be, shall forthwith make an application in writing to the court to proceed under subsection 1, for the release of such person on bail. 480. When bail may be taken in case of non-bailable offense. 1. When any person accused of, or suspected of, the commission of any non-bailable offense is arrested or detained without warrant by an officer in charge of a police station or appears or is brought before a court other than the High Court or Court of Session, he may be released on bail, but such person shall not be so released if there appear reasonable grounds for believing that he has been guilty of an offense punishable with death or imprisonment for life. Such person shall not be so released if such offense is a cognizable offense and he had been previously convicted of an offense punishable with death, imprisonment for life or imprisonment for 7 years or more, or he had been previously convicted on 2 or more occasions of a cognizable offense punishable with imprisonment for 3 years or more but less than 7 years. Provided that the court may direct that a person referred to in clause I or clause E be released on bail if such person is a child or is a woman or is sick or infirm. Provided further that the court may also direct that a person referred to in clause E be released on bail if it is satisfied that it is just and proper so to do for any other special reason. Provided also that the mere fact that an accused person may be required for being identified by witnesses during investigation or for police custody beyond the first 15 days shall not be sufficient ground for refusing to grant bail if he is otherwise entitled to be released on bail and gives an undertaking that he shall comply with such directions as may be given by the court. Provided also that no person shall, if the offense alleged to have been committed by him is punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for 7 years or more, be released on bail by the court under this subsection without giving an opportunity of hearing to the public prosecutor. 2. If it appears to such officer or court at any stage of the investigation, inquiry or trial, as the case may be, that there are not reasonable grounds for believing that the accused has committed a non-bailable offense, but that there are sufficient grounds for further inquiry into his guilt, the accused shall, subject to the provisions of Section 494 and pending such inquiry, be released on bail, or, at the discretion of such officer or court, on the execution by him of a bond for his appearance as hereinafter provided. 3. When a person accused or suspected of the commission of an offense punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 7 years or more or of an offense under Chapter 6, Chapter 7 or Chapter 17 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023 or abetment of, or conspiracy or attempt to commit, any such offense, is released on bail under subsection 1. The court shall impose the conditions. A. That such person shall attend in accordance with the conditions of the bond executed under this chapter. B. That such person shall not commit an offense similar to the offense of which he is accused, or suspected, of the commission of which he is suspected, and, c. That such person shall not directly or indirectly make any inducement, threat or promise to any person acquainted with the facts of the case so as to dissuade him from disclosing such facts to the court or to any police officer or tamper with the evidence, and may also impose, in the interests of justice, such other conditions as it considers necessary. 4. An officer or a court releasing any person on bail under subsection 1 or subsection 2 shall record in writing his or its reasons or special reasons for so doing. 5. Any court which has released a person on bail under subsection 1 or subsection 2 may, if it considers it necessary so to do, direct that such person be arrested and commit him to custody. 6. If, in any case triable by a magistrate, the trial of a person accused of any non-bailable offence is not concluded within a period of 60 days from the first date fixed for taking evidence in the case, such person shall, if he is in custody during the whole of the said period, be released on bail to the satisfaction of the magistrate, unless for reasons to be recorded in writing, the magistrate otherwise directs. 7. If, at any time, after the conclusion of the trial of a person accused of a non-bailable offence and before judgment is delivered, the court is of opinion that there are reasonable grounds for believing that the accused is not guilty of any such offence, it shall release the accused, if he is in custody, on the execution by him of a bond for his appearance to hear judgment delivered. 481. Bail to require accused to appear before next appellate court. 1. Before conclusion of the trial and before disposal of the appeal, the court trying the offence or the appellate court, as the case may be, shall require the accused to execute a bond or bail bond, to appear before the higher court as and when such court issues notice in respect of any appeal or petition filed against the judgment of the respective court, and such bond shall be in force for 6 months. 2. If such accused fails to appear, the bond stand forfeited and the procedure under section 491 shall apply. 482. Direction for grant of bail to person apprehending arrest. 1. When any person has reason to believe that he may be arrested on an accusation of having committed a non-bailable offence, he may apply to the High Court or the Court of Session for a direction under this section, and that court may, if it thinks fit, direct that in the event of such arrest, he shall be released on bail. 2. When the High Court or the Court of Session makes a direction under subsection 1, it may include such conditions in such directions in the light of the facts of the particular case, as it may think fit, including I. A condition that the person shall make himself available for interrogation by a police officer as and when required. E. A condition that the person shall not, directly or indirectly, make any inducement, threat or promise to any person acquainted with the facts of the case so as to dissuade him from disclosing such facts to the court or to any police officer. E. A condition that the person shall not leave India without the previous permission of the court. IV. Such other condition as may be imposed under subsection 3 of section 480. as if the bail were granted under that section. 3. If such person is thereafter arrested without warrant by an officer in charge of a police station on such accusation, and is prepared either at the time of arrest or at any time while in the custody of such officer to give bail, he shall be released on bail. And if a magistrate taking cognizance of such offence decides that a warrant should be issued in the first instance against that person, he shall issue a bailable warrant in conformity with the direction of the court under subsection 1. 4. Nothing in this section shall apply to any case involving the arrest of any person on accusation of having committed an offence under section 65 in subsection 2 of section 70 of K. Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita 2023 483. Special powers of High Court or Court of Session regarding bail. 1. A High Court or Court of Session may direct a. That any person accused of an offence and in custody be released on bail, and if the offence is of the nature specified in subsection 3 of section 480, may impose any condition which it considers necessary for the purposes mentioned in that subsection. B. That any condition imposed by a magistrate when releasing any person on bail be set aside or modified, provided that the High Court or the Court of Session shall, before granting bail to a person who is accused of an offence which is triable exclusively by the Court of Session or which, though not so triable, is punishable with imprisonment for life, give notice of the application for bail to the public prosecutor unless it is, for reasons to be recorded in writing, of opinion that it is not practicable to give such notice. Provided further that the High Court or the Court of Session shall, before granting bail to a person who is accused of an offence triable under section 65 or subsection 2 of section 70 of the Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita 2023, give notice of the application for bail to the public prosecutor within a period of 15 days from the date of receipt of the notice of such application. 2. The presence of the informant or any person authorized by him shall be obligatory at the time of hearing of the application for bail to the person under section 65 or subsection 2 of section 70 of the Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita 2023. 3. A High Court or Court of Session may direct that any person who has been released on bail under this chapter be arrested and commit him to custody. 484. Amount of bond and reduction thereof. 1. The amount of every bond executed under this chapter shall be fixed with due regard to the circumstances of the case and shall not be excessive. 2. The High Court or the Court of Session may direct that the bail required by a police officer or magistrate be reduced. 485. Bond of accused and sureties. 1. Before any person is released on bond or bail bond, a bond for such sum of money as the police officer or court, as the case may be, thinks sufficient shall be executed by such person, and when he is released on bond or bail bond, by one or more sufficient sureties conditioned that such person shall attend at the time and place mentioned in the bond, and shall continue so to attend until otherwise directed by the police officer or court, as the case may be. 2. where any condition is imposed for the release of any person on bail, the bond or bail bond shall also contain that condition. 3. If the case so requires, the bond or bail bond shall also bind the person released on bail to appear when called upon at the High Court, Court of Session or other court to answer the charge. 4. For the purpose of determining whether the sureties are fit or sufficient. The court may accept affidavits in proof of the facts contained therein relating to the sufficiency or fitness of the sureties, or, if it considers necessary, may either hold an inquiry itself or cause an inquiry to be made by a magistrate subordinate to the court, as to such sufficiency or fitness. 486. Declaration by sureties. Every person standing surety to an accused person for his release on bail, shall make a declaration before the court as to the number of persons to whom he has stood surety including the accused, giving therein all the relevant particulars. 487. Discharge from custody. 1. As soon as the bond or bail bond has been executed, the person for whose appearance it has been executed shall be released, and, when he is in jail, the court admitting him to bail shall issue an order of release to the officer in charge of the jail, and such officer on receipt of the orders shall release him. 2. Nothing in this section, Section 478 or Section 480, shall be deemed to require the release of any person liable to be detained for some matter other than that in respect of which the bond or bail bond was executed. 488. Power to order sufficient bail when that first taken is insufficient. If, through mistake, fraud or otherwise, insufficient sureties have been accepted, or if they afterwards become insufficient, the court may issue a warrant of arrest directing that the person released on bail be brought before it and may order him to find sufficient sureties, and, on his failing so to do, may commit him to jail. 489. Discharge of sureties. 1. All or any sureties for the attendance and appearance of a person released on bail may at any time apply to a magistrate to discharge the bond, either wholly or so far as relates to the applicants. 2. On such application being made, the magistrate shall issue his warrant of arrest directing that the person so released be brought before him. 3. On the appearance of such person pursuant to the warrant, or on his voluntary surrender, the magistrate shall direct the bond to be discharged either wholly or so far as relates to the applicants, and shall call upon such person to find other sufficient sureties, and, if he fails to do so, may commit him to jail. 490. Deposit instead of recognizance. When any person is required by any court or officer to execute a bond or bail bond, such court or officer may, except in the case of a bond for good behavior, permit him to deposit a sum of money or government promissory notes to such amount as the court or officer may fix in lieu of executing such bond. 491. Procedure when bond has been forfeited. 1. Where a bond under this Sanhita is for appearance, or for production of property, before a court and it is proved to the satisfaction of that court, or of any court to which the case has subsequently been transferred, that the bond has been forfeited, or b. in respect of any other bond under this Sanhita, it is proved to the satisfaction of the court by which the bond was taken, or of any court to which the case has subsequently been transferred, or of the audit of any magistrate of the first class, that the bond has been forfeited, the court shall record the grounds of such proof, and may call upon any person bound by such bond to pay the penalty thereof or to show cause why it should not be paid. Explanation. A condition in a bond for appearance, or for production of property, before a court shall be construed as including a condition for appearance, or as the case may be, for production of property, before any court to which the case may subsequently be transferred. 2. If sufficient cause is not shown and the penalty is not paid, the court may proceed to recover the same as if such penalty were a fine imposed by it under this Sanhita, provided that where such penalty is not paid and cannot be recovered in the manner aforesaid, the person so bound as surety shall be liable. By order of the court ordering the recovery of the penalty, to imprisonment in civil jail for a term which may extend to 6 months. 3. The court may, after recording its reasons for doing so, remit any portion of the penalty mentioned and enforce payment in part only. 4. Where a surety to a bond dies before the bond is forfeited, his estate shall be discharged from all liability in respect of the bond. 5. Where any person who has furnished security under Section 125 or Section 136 or Section 401 is convicted of an offense the commission of which constitutes a breach of the conditions of his bond, or of a bond executed in lieu of his bond under Section 494. A certified copy of the judgment of the court by which he was convicted of such offense may be used as evidence in proceedings under this section against his surety or sureties, and if such certified copy is so used, the court shall presume that such offense was committed by him unless the contrary is proved. 492. Cancellation of bond and bail bond. Without prejudice to the provisions of Section 491, where a bond or bail bond under this Sanhita is for appearance of a person in a case and it is forfeited for breach of a condition, the bond executed by such person as well as the bond, if any, executed by one or more of his sureties in that case shall stand cancelled, and b. Thereafter no such person shall be released only on his own bond in that case, if the police officer or the court, as the case may be, for appearance before whom the bond was executed, is satisfied that there was no sufficient cause for the failure of the person bound by the bond to comply with its condition, provided that subject to any other provisions of this Sanhita he may be released in that case upon the execution of a fresh personal bond for such sum of money and bond by one or more of such sureties as the police officer or the court, as the case may be, thinks sufficient. 493. Procedure in case of insolvency or death of surety or when a bond is forfeited. When any surety to a bail bond under this Sanhita becomes insolvent or dies, or when any bond is forfeited under the provisions of Section 491, the court by whose order such bond was taken or a magistrate of the first class may order the person from whom such security was demanded to furnish fresh security in accordance with the directions of the original order. And if such security is not furnished, such court or magistrate may proceed as if there had been a default in complying with such original order. 494. Bond required from child. When the person required by any court or officer to execute a bond is a child, such court or officer may accept, in lieu thereof, a bond executed by a surety or sureties only. 495. Appeal from orders under Section 491. All orders passed under Section 491 shall be appealable. I. In the case of an order made by a magistrate, to the sessions judge. E. In the case of an order made by a court of session, to the court to which an appeal lies from an order made by such court. 496. Power to direct levy of amount due on certain recognizances. The High Court or Court of Session may direct any magistrate to levy the amount due on a bond for appearance or attendance at such High Court or Court of Session.